We suspected, or at least my parents suspected, I was colorblind when I was a young kid playing light bright, because I could never tell the differences between the purple pegs or the blue pegs. And I would always go and ask my parents which color was blue and which one was purple. My name is Jason Paradis. I was diagnosed with red-green duottan deficiency. I've always sort of played with the idea of color as a concept rather than as an accuracy, meaning like I've never really felt the need to match color exactly as it appears in the real world, but to interpret color as I want to see it. I've always been colorblind, so I've never thought about it in any other way. You know, I see the work as I see it, as I've always seen it, and as I will always see it. The piece that I just created was an installation for a faculty show where I teach at Stony Brook University. My students have always, for the last, 15, 20 years, have been wanting me to create an installation, because I do a lot of that. There's a yellow-green in this piece that looks a lot like yellow to me. I do see the little bit of green in it, so I am seeing yellow-green. Are we both seeing the yellow-green the same way? I have no idea, nor do I seem to really care about it. It's one of those things that I'm not interested necessarily in having you see color the way I see it. I'm more interested in using color the way I see it. My overlap, because of my red-green deficiency, between my red and green cone, one of them is deficient, so my overlap is much larger. Therefore, the space sort of in the middle, where the cones overlap, the brain gets a little confused as to what that color is in that overlapped space. So it has to kind of decipher it to the next color. So yes, I can see yellow. Can I see yellow-green? Maybe, maybe not. It all depends. It's a hard thing to kind of decipher because, I can ask you to describe the yellow that you see, and I can describe the yellow that I see, and we don't have words to describe it exactly how we're seeing it, right? We can just say it's a bright yellow. It looks like a lemon, but what's a lemon, right? You know how there are different colors of, lemons. So we can try to get it kind of as close as possible from equating it to other things. But those other things are at its core, they're inaccurate. The harder thing, and if we want to talk about education, is being a painting professor and being colorblind and not letting my students ever know that I'm colorblind, because that is something that I feel like they will not trust me. I think being colorblind has led me to research color a lot more than maybe the average person would, because it is a limitation. It's the thing that I can't see and the thing that I need to understand on maybe more of a scientific level than seeing it on a physical level, right? So that is something that I know a lot about color, how color works, the interactions of color. I can definitely tell my students what paints to choose to actually mix the color that they want. I do it in sort of a different way than most. I will not say mix this color, this color, this color, and you'll get that color. I'll say try these colors and come back to me and tell me if it got what you wanted. If not, then I know what color that they need to mix in if it's not there. So I actually ask my students a lot of questions about what they're seeing in order for me to help them get the color that they want, rather than me telling them exactly what to do, because maybe I can't see that. Yeah. Like, it wasn't something I could see color and then I couldn't see color. It's not something that happened throughout, it wasn't an instantaneous loss in my life. It was something that I grew up with, that I had, and I always had it. So, and I always wanted to be an artist, and I always wanted to work with color. So for me, being an artist was more important than being able to see the full spectrum of color. So it's just this is the way I worked, the way it was, and the way, I was going to work. And even when I realized and was told that I was colorblind, it didn't prevent me from making artwork.